On 6th of February 2026, the Indian Coast Guard intercepted 3 oil tankers around 100 nautical miles off the coast of Mumbai. The vessels were originally involved in mid-sea oil transfers designed to evade duties and regulatory oversight. It was not an isolated incident. Just days later, on 9th of February, the US military said it had boarded a Venezuela-linked tanker in the Indian Ocean after tracking it from the Caribbean in a prolonged pursuit. And in the Mediterranean, the French Navy seized another suspected tanker operating outside formal trade routes. These cases point to something much larger: a vast, hidden network of ships quietly moving oil across the world, beyond sanctions, regulation, and scrutiny. This is the world of the shadow fleet. Countries impose oil sanctions to cut off revenue to states or entities linked to conflict, human rights abuses, or illegal activity. But oil does not stop flowing. Instead, it changes how it moves. Sanctioned oil is rerouted into quieter, less regulated channels carried by ships that operate in the gaps of the global system. This parallel shipping network is known as the shadow fleet or ghost fleet. When oil is sanctioned, vessels transporting it lose access to ports, insurance, and international banking. Many are blacklisted, making legal trade impossible. To bypass these restrictions, operators rely on a clandestine maritime system designed to conceal ownership, origin, and destination. Shadow tankers are typically old, poorly maintained ships with opaque ownership structures. They frequently change names, flags, and registered owners, sometimes mid-voyage. At sea, vessels often go dark, switching off automatic identification system transponders or broadcasting false GPS locations. Oil is transferred ship to ship in international waters, mixed across multiple tankers, and relabeled. By the time it reaches port, tracing its origin becomes extremely difficult. Most of these vessels lack proper insurance, keeping them out of mainstream ports and forcing operations offshore. This is no longer a fringe operation. Experts estimate that shadow tankers now make up to as much as 20% of the global oil tanker fleet. The fleet expanded rapidly between 2024 and 2025 as sanctions on Russia, Iran, and Venezuela tightened. Recently, some shadow tankers have begun registering under the Russian flag. Analysts say this is a deliberate move aimed at deterring interception by raising political and diplomatic risks for enforcement agencies. Shadow fleets do more than evade sanctions. They create serious environmental and legal risks. Old, uninsured vessels operating offshore increase the chances of accidents, oil spills, and unaccountable damage. At the same time, the growing use of state protection for illicit shipping is blurring the rules of enforcement at sea. The shadow fleet survives not just on secrecy but on ambiguity of identity, ownership, and responsibility. And as sanctions tighten, that ambiguity is becoming a defining feature of how oil now moves across the world's oceans. Follow Business Standard for more in-depth global explainers.